Just as in the study of fertility, we also have a lot of different data sources for mortality. Deaths and the measuring of deaths has been part of the business of national governments for quite a long time. And in the United States, it was 1933 when we finally started collecting mortality data or death data from all of our states. Different countries vary when they have had access to counts of deaths by certain characteristics. I've made available to you here links for 3 sources of data, plus a couple tools you can use to just sort of play around with and examine mortality data. The 3 sources that I have for you here is something called the Mortality Database, the World Health Organization Mortality Database, and then our trusty friend, the UN Population Prospects 2012 databases. We're going to start by going to this human mortality database, this www.mortality.org. This is a privately created database, but it is very, very good. These are researchers from some of the best places in the world that study mortality. They've put this together. It's basically hosted by Berkeley. It's a really, really good data source. You do have to create an account. It's free, not that hard. No real restrictions on what your password looks like, so it can be anything you want it to be. And once you've done that, you have to log in to get certain types of data. There's not a login button right here, but the minute you click on something that it wants you to be logged in for, it will ask you for that. The downside to this database is that it only covers 37 countries and they are all developed nations, but it is a very, very nice data source for mortality from developed nations. We're going to go to the United States, and here we can get information on births, deaths, population by 1-year age intervals over 1 year of time, by 1-year age intervals over 5 years of time, 1-year age intervals over 10 years of time, 5-year age intervals over 1 year of time, then there's 5 by 5 and 5 by 10. We're going to do 5 by 1. So what this is going to give us are deaths by 5-year age categories for single years. I'm only interested in 1 year. I'm going to do 2010 right now. If I needed multiple years, they're all going to be there, so that's good. Even though this says 5-year age groups, it's still going to separate out infants and children ages 1 to 5 because those mortality experiences are so different than at the other ages. You absolutely have to separate out infant mortality. So it's good that it's done that. By getting deaths, by getting population, we'll be able to calculate age-specific death rates, or sometimes called age-specific mortality rates. By getting births, we'll be able to calculate infant mortality rate, which uses births rather than population. So to get what I need, I just come over here and click. Basically, I want these 5 by 1. It creates a text file. How do you open up a text file in Excel? Well, first you save it. Now I am in Firefox for Windows. Your browser might have a different place where this is, but what you want to do is save this page. File, Save Page As, and I'm going to save it as a text document. Now I've already saved it like 5 times here, but I do need to give myself some more information to make sure that I'm saving exactly what I want. Deaths 5 by 1, United States, 2010, and that's just because right now I'm interested in 2010. You know what, I think I'm not even going to bother with that. There we go, since it's not actually accurate. It's saved, all is well. I'm going to hit the back button on my browser to get back into here, and now I'm going to save my population. Same thing, 5-year, File, Save Page As. This time I want population, USA. Just leave it at that. There. Save. And that is saved. Hit the back button on my browser. And last but not least, I'd like my births. Births are always going to be in a 1-year age interval, so that's why they're here. Births. But in this case, since I'm only interested in 2010, I'm not going to save this whole file. I'm going to come back in a minute and just copy and paste those. All right, so now I'm going to go into Excel and I am going to open up that data. Now I am in Excel 2010 for Windows. Yours might work differently, but one way or another, what you want to do is open. When you go to open, what you want to do is find your text file. Going back to my desktop, and I want a text file That is United States deaths or mortality 5. Can't seem to find it. Got a lot of stuff on my desktop. If I cleared some of that out, it might get a little bit easier. There we go. Deaths 5x1 USA. That's the one I want. Open. In this case, it tells me that the format is different than what the file extension says. It's totally fine. It just has to do with computer stuff. All right, so it opens up the text import wizard. These are what's called delimited. They are space delimited. That means a space in between the pieces of data is what distinguishes the columns. So I'm going to click on delimited. Next. Space, double check, yay, works. Next. This is just, do you want to change your number format? No, I don't, so I do finish. And there we go. It's exactly what I wanted, except it's not because it's for every single year and I only want 2010. So I'm going to highlight all this, thousands of cells, until I get to 2010. There we go. And I'm going to hit delete on my version. It's just a button up there. Age group, female, male. It interpreted that 1 to 4 as a date, so I'm just going to 1, 2, 4. I'm just going to type this in to make it work. 5 to 9 and 10 to 14. Save. I'm going to do a couple of little things that I want to do because it makes it easier for me to think when my stuff is formatted in a clearer way. It's certainly not necessary. I'm going to get rid of that title. I don't need it right now. I'll put in a better one later. And because these were calculated from some estimated data sources, they are going to have a decimal level. And on mine, I do this so often that I have a button up here. You're going to number formatting to reduce your decimal level. It's not getting rid of that data, it's just hiding it. It's a lot clearer. I'm going to add in the word deaths up here. And just again, this is just me, merge and center, bold. Now I know that's deaths. I need population also. So as long as I'm at it, I might as well do a little of this. I'm going to copy, Control-C or Command-C on a Mac, paste, Control-V or Command-V. Then I'm going to merge and center, bold, yay. Now I need to open up that text file with my population data that we saved. File, open, desktop. It was population, there we go, population 5, USA. Open. Yeah. This is totally fine. I say yes, delimited, next, space, next, double check, finish. And there's my population. This time I'm not going to do a bunch of deleting. I'm just going to scroll all the way down to the bottom where my 2010 data resides. I don't need the year or the age category this time since I've already got those on my table. I'm just going to copy. There we go. It's 24 of them by 3. Control-C or Command-C on a Mac. And then I need to get back into this table that I set up before, and I can just paste them into place. Very nice. Again, this is just me. I want to give this a little more space so I can see better. And I'm going to get rid of my decimal levels, which are inevitable in calculated data sets. There we go. I now have all the data necessary from the Human Mortality Database to calculate age and sex-specific mortality rates as well as crude death rates. I do not have the data I need yet in here to calculate infant mortality, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to bring that down here a little bit. I'm going to do births, and if you'll recall, I didn't save this text file because I didn't want to bother. I'm going to copy and paste from here. So this is, Control-C. Which one is it? Here we go. And I'm just going to do it right there. Okay, that's fine. That pasted them all inside one cell, so I'm going to need to kind of split these up a little bit. So I'm just going to take that, and I'm going to cut that. Control-X or Command-X, V. I'm going to come up here, and I'm going to cut that next one. Control-X, put it right there, V. I'm going to take this last one, Control-X, place it right there. And then I'm just going to move that down. There we go. So now I have my births by female, male, and total, which I can use later when I do infant mortality.